Welcome to Roads Renewed. I'm Kosi Anyao. This week, we spotlight the just concluded FEMA Road Summit 2026, held at the Abuja Continental Hotel, Abuja, a pivotal gathering focused on transforming Nigeria's road maintenance strategy. This defining national conversation brings together policymakers, lawmakers, engineers, and stakeholders to chart a new course for sustainable road maintenance in Nigeria. From keynote addresses and policy commitments to critical panel discussions and the unveiling of FEMA's two-year compendium, the summit underscored a clear message. The future of Nigeria's roads lies in preventive, data-driven, and accountable maintenance systems. Stay with us as we present a social documentary showcasing the FEMA Road Summit 2026 and the renewed commitment to building roads that are durable, resilient, and fit for national growth.
On February 3, 2026, policymakers, engineers, lawmakers, and industry leaders gathered at the Ladi Kwali Hall of the Abuja Continental Hotel, Abuja, to confront one of Nigeria's most urgent development challenges: how to make roads durable, resilient, and affordable to maintain. It was more than a summit. It was a strategic conversation about the future of mobility, commerce, and national growth. The summit was formally declared open on behalf of the President by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, who reaffirmed the administration's commitment to infrastructure under the renewed HOPE agenda. He emphasized that road maintenance must become predictive rather than reactive, guided by accurate data and supported by a national geo-referenced road database. According to him, sustainable infrastructure is not achieved through sporadic interventions, but through systems that track, assess, and respond before failure occurs.
Today underscores a shared national commitment to ensuring that Nigeria's road network remains safe, reliable, and resilient for the movement of goods and services today and for generations yet unborn. Road infrastructure is the backbone of Nigeria's socio-economic life. This is because roads connect our farms to markets, our cities, our industries to supply chains, our citizens to opportunities, and our commitments to one another. In practical terms, a huge number of passengers and freight movement in Nigeria depends on roads. The condition, reliability, sustainability of federal road, therefore, have a direct bearing on economic productivity, national integration, road safety, and overall quality of life of Nigerians. This summit is convened at a critical moment because our road network has been under siege through intense pressure from rapid population growth, urbanization, increasing traffic volumes, overloading, climate-induced stresses, and persistent funding constraints. These pressures affect not only the physical condition of our roads, but also safety, security, environmental sustainability, social inclusion, and economic competitiveness. The consequences of this range from increased travel time and vehicle operating costs to road accidents and loss of productivity are too significant for us to ignore. It is in recognition of these realities that the renewed HOPE agenda of this administration has placed infrastructure development at the heart of national renewal. Roads are not viewed merely as construction projects, but as strategic national assets that must support inclusive growth, national cohesion, and long-term development. Under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's leadership, Nigeria is witnessing unprecedented inclusive investments in road infrastructure, driven by a commitment to quality, durability, and value for money. Let me at this point highlight a few flagship interventions that reflect this renewed focus. The Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, spanning approximately 750 kilometers, is designed to unlock Nigeria's blue economy, enhance connectivity along our coastal corridor, and stimulate tourism, trade, and industrial development. Complementing this is the Sokoto-Badagry Highway, a historic 1,068-kilometer north-south corridor that will connect the far northwest of our country to the Atlantic, opening new economic frontiers and strengthening national integration.
In his address, the Managing Director of FEMA, Dr. Chukwuemeka Agbasi, laid out the agency's vision with clarity and resolve. He described the summit as a turning point, an opportunity to transform discussions into measurable action across the federal road network. He stressed life cycle management, resilience planning, and strategic prioritization of high-impact corridors.
I wish to especially commend the visionary leadership of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, whose unwavering commitment to infrastructure development has continued to refine the nation's economic trajectory. The President's strong policy direction, sustained investment in road infrastructure, and emphasis on value for money projects have provided the enabling environment for agencies such as FEMA to effectively discharge their mandate. Road transport remains the dominant mode of mobility in Nigeria, accounting for the vast majority of passenger and freight movement. From farm produce moving to markets, to industrial goods connecting to ports, to citizens accessing education, healthcare, and employment, roads shape daily life and economic outcomes across our nation. Yet, despite the importance we all are aware of the persistent challenges facing our road sector, deteriorating assets, maintenance backlogs, and climate-induced damage and funding constraints and road safety concerns. These challenges impose significant economic costs. Higher vehicle operating costs, longer travel times, reduced competitiveness, and most importantly, risk to human lives. This summit is therefore timely and necessary. Sustainable road infrastructure extends beyond building roads. It is about building better roads and managing them better. It requires a shift from the short-term reactive intervention to long-term life cycle planning. It calls for data-driven asset management, resilient design standards, predictable maintenance funding, and strong institutional coordination across all tiers of government. More importantly, sustainability in road infrastructure is about national growth. Well-maintained roads simulate roads trade, unlock rural economies, attract investments, create jobs, and strengthen national cohesion. Evidence from within Nigeria clearly shows that improved road access leads to national household income, better access to social services, and more inclusive economic development. Over the course of this summit, we will engage in meaningful discussions on sustainable road infrastructure, road asset maintenance and management policy, policy implications, innovative financing, public-private partnership, climate resilience, road safety, and capacity development. We will encourage participants to share their experiences and lessons from successful projects, examine what has worked and what has not, and chart a practical path forward for Nigerian road sector.
In his keynote address, the President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Obatakpabio, represented by Senator Saabi Yao, he framed road infrastructure as a unifying force, binding regions, facilitating trade, and strengthening national integration.
A sustainable road is not one that dazzles with commissioning, only to decay with indecent haste. It is one that serves peacefully long after the speeches have ended and the banners have been folded away. To achieve these demands, discipline, a move from reaction to prevention, from episodic intervention, continuous maintenance, from short-lived solution to long-term planning. Sustainability, therefore, is not a slogan to be recited, but a policy choice to be imposed and measured by which leadership is judged. It was in recognition of this, truth that the National Assembly enacted the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency Establishment Act of 2002. The law marked a decisive shift in our approach to infrastructural governance. It acknowledged with admirable clarity that to build roads without structured and enduring maintenance framework was physically reckless and developmentally unsound. By placing maintenance firmly within the purview of law, the legislature ensured that the serviceability of our roads will no longer depend on political moods or momentary convenience, but on institutional obligation and continuity. In the years that followed, the National Assembly has sought to strengthen this foundation through successive finance acts and the Road Infrastructure Development and Refurbishment Investment Tax Credit Scheme. We have widened the door for responsive private sector participation in road construction and rehabilitation. These instruments reflect a modern understanding of development, one that combines public oversight with private capacity, aligns national priorities with sustainable financing, and recognizes that infrastructure must be planned not only for today, but for the generations that will inherit it. Within this framework, FEMA occupies a position of strategic importance, charged with the maintenance of federal roads. The agency represents continuity in a system often strained by change. Its task is not merely to repair what has broken, but to preserve national assets, extend the lifespan of critical infrastructure, and ensure that public investment yields lasting value. In this sense, FEMA is more than an implementing agency. It is a stabilizing institution, translating legislative intent into durable results held by the citizens across the Federation.
The Minister of State for Works, Right Honorable Bello Muhammad Goroyo, focused on the human dimension of road infrastructure. Well-maintained roads lower transportation costs, reduce food prices, improve access to healthcare, and enhance national competitiveness. However, he warned that funding gaps, axle load violations, and inconsistent technical standards continue to undermine progress. Preventive maintenance, predictive financing, and strict enforcement, he emphasized, must become the foundation of Nigeria's road management strategy.
For infrastructure is not just a slogan, but a visible reality across the 36,000 kilometers federal road network. The theme of this summit, Sustainable Road Infrastructure for National Growth, goes to the heart of our mission. Roads are not merely asphalt and gravel. They are the arteries through which the lifeblood of our economy flows. Road transport remains Nigeria's dominant mode of mobility, handling over 90% of both passenger and goods movements. When our road work, Nigeria moves forward. Yet, road abuses remains a critical challenge. Practices such as overloading, reckless driving, and unauthorized road use shorten the lifespan of our investments. The consequence is a heavy drain on lean government resources, forcing repeated repairs instead of allowing us to expand and modernize our network. Tackling road abuse is therefore essential to protecting public funds and ensuring lasting value for the Nigerian people. We must commend His Excellency President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCL for according priority to road infrastructure and for supporting FEMA to carry out its mandate. Under his renewed hope agenda, infrastructure has been repositioned as a primary driver of national security and economic stability. Mr. President's mandate is clear. We are building a $1 trillion economy, and that economy cannot run on failed roads. We also appreciate members of the National Assembly, particularly the committees on FEMA, for their constant oversight and supporting us with budgetary provisions that enable us to fulfill our responsibilities. Their partnership ensures that our work is not only visible but sustainable.
Lawmakers present at the summit, including the chairs of the relevant House and Senate committees overseeing FEMA, pledged continued legislative support. They reaffirmed their commitment to predictive funding, stronger oversight mechanisms, and institutional coordination between agencies.
As people-oriented legislature, the 10th House of Representatives took these concerns seriously. Our engagement with FEMA has therefore been deliberate, continuous, and strategic. Where our oversight appeared firm, it was never adversarial. It was purposeful, guided by the best interests of the ordinary Nigerians and the long-term developments of our nation through sustained dialogue and the long-term development of our nation. The House of Representatives, the 10th National Assembly, therefore, in the course of our activities, articulated a 14-point reform agenda aimed at re-engineering, repositioning, and rebirth a FEMA that works for all, one that is proactive, one that is professionally driven, one that is transparent, adequately funded, and accountable. I am pleased to acknowledge the positive response of FEMA leadership, the management, and commend them for embracing reform, for embracing innovation, and for embracing partnership. Today, distinguished participants, I am pleased to announce that a new road maintenance culture is emerging in Nigeria. Gradually but steadily, results are becoming feasible across the 6 geopolitical zones. Roads that were once impassable are becoming motorable and safer. Budgetary allocation for FEMA is improving. Indigenous contractors are being empowered, strengthening local capacity and retaining value within our economy. Importantly, FEMA is attributing and attracting increased interest from developing partners and expanding technical collaboration. These are not abstract achievements. They are tangible improvement felt daily by commuters, being felt daily by transporters, being felt daily by traders, farmers, and entire communities.
A special presentation by engineer Chris Okoye on the topic Sustainable Road Ingredients for National Growth also added color to the summit.
My table of contents, of course, will take us through a brief introduction, and we will look at the roads as drivers of national growth, Nigeria road network at a glance, current conditions of the network inclusive of asset abuse, operational pressures. Then we'll look at the economic cost of poor roads, and of course, what are the funding trends, historical reform efforts, need for a new model, because obviously something must be wrong, so we definitely have to look for a new model. Proposed framework, therefore, in response to that new model. Case for national road fund then that I'm making, and then complementary financing models that will also be associated with that road fund. But remember that it is not only road fund that is going to drive this system. There must be other things that must be put in place.
Beyond the speeches, the summit came alive during its panel sessions. Experts from academia, the private sector, and government agencies examined the shift from reactive patching to life cycle planning. Discussions explored innovative financing models, public-private collaboration, asset management systems, and the role of technology in monitoring pavement conditions. A major highlight of the summit was the unveiling of FEMA's 2-year compendium, a strategic document capturing the agency's programs, partnerships, and performance targets. The compendium outlines a roadmap for asset audits, measurable key performance indicators, and structured collaboration with both domestic and international partners. The summit also paused to celebrate excellence with the agency. Awards were presented to deserving staff whose innovation, technical expertise, and dedication have strengthened FEMA's operation across the country. The recognition served not only as appreciation, but as motivation, reinforcing a culture of professionalism, safety leadership, and community engagement. As the summit drew to a close, a unified message from the communique emerged. Nigeria's road challenges are complex, but not insurmountable. The pathway forward demands cultural change, disciplined funding structures, and intelligent use of data. It requires preventive maintenance instead of emergency reactions, enforcement alongside engineering, and accountability at every level. The FEMA Roads Summit 2026 concluded not as an end point, but as a call to action. If the commitments made are translated into policy, practice, and performance, Nigeria can transform recurring repair cycles into durable infrastructure value. Stronger roads mean stronger trade, safer journeys, and a more connected nation. The task ahead is clear: to build roads that endure, and in doing so, build a future that moves forward with confidence.
As we conclude today's episode, we reflect on the significance of the FEMA Road Summit 2026, a gathering that reinforced collaboration, strengthened policy direction, and renewed the national resolve to safeguard our federal road assets. The conversations may have ended, but the commitment to sustainable maintenance and measurable impact continues. To stay connected and learn more about our work, you can reach us through the following official platforms: Facebook at Official FEMA Nigeria Headquarters, X at FedRoads NGR. You can also email us info@fema.gov.ng or visit our website www.fema.gov.ng. Until next time, I'm Kosi Anyao. On behalf of the entire Roads Renewed production team, thank you for watching. Goodbye for now.